because although Biden has made inroads with independents, Trump has expanded his own lead with white voters. Meanwhile, Trump appears to be lowering expectations and making excuses ahead of the upcoming presidential debate with President Biden. That's set for 1 week from tonight. During his rally in Wisconsin on Tuesday, Trump even pushed the conspiracy that Biden could only do well if he's pumped up on drugs.
Is anybody going to watch the debate? He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been. I don't know. Actually, I think it was Joe.
None of that, of course, is true. Trump also told his followers to be suspicious of the whole debate enterprise, although his campaign negotiated the terms of his participation. Trump added that he'll be up against multiple adversaries at one time, not just Biden, but both of CNN's moderators, who Trump said are incapable of treating him fairly. And when it comes to Trump's debate preparations, he's reportedly been meeting with policy experts and other allies rather than holding full-fledged mock debates. Senator Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance have been involved in these meetings. Meanwhile, President Biden will begin wholesale debate preparations at Camp David. According to Politico, Biden's longtime advisor and first White House chief of staff, Ron Klain, a staple at these debate preps, will be involved in the sessions. Last month, the chair of Biden's reelection campaign put out a memo explaining that the president will aim to go on the offensive and push Trump to talk about how his 3 appointees to the Supreme Court helped overturn Roe v. Wade and how he could further undermine abortion rights in a second term. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is rejecting Israel's claims that the White House has been withholding weapons. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made the accusation earlier this week, suggesting that the U.S. is slowing Israel's offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah. Netanyahu did not say which weapons were allegedly being withheld. Now, last month, President Biden did delay the delivery of some heavy bombs amid concerns that Israel's operation would worsen the already dire humanitarian crisis. But the White House says that pause only applied to that one shipment.
We generally do not know what he's talking about. We just don't. A couple of things that I do want to add, and you're right, there was one particular shipment of munitions that was paused, and you've heard us talk about that many times. We continue to have these constructive discussions with Israelis for the release of that particular shipment that I just mentioned, and don't have any updates on that. There are no other pauses, no other pauses or holds in place.
The Biden administration is also denying published reports that it canceled a high-level meeting with Israeli officials because of Netanyahu's comments. A White House official tells NBC News that the details of that meeting had not yet been finalized and that it is still expected to happen at some point. Joining us now, White House reporter for the Associated Press, Darlene Superville, who's been traveling with the president there to Delaware. Biden heads to Camp David this evening. Darlene, good to see you this morning. Let's start, though, with this relationship between President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. The White House downright perplexed in aides that I talked to about Netanyahu's claims that other weapons were being withheld. They're saying that's simply not the case, and they're deeply frustrated with these accusations. So where does this relationship stand at the moment?
Good morning, Jonathan. I think a good way to describe the relationship at this point is probably that it's a tense relationship. The President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu remain at odds over Israel's offensive in Gaza, and that has been a big source of tension. And of course, adding to that now are the comments that the Prime Minister made on the video recently, claiming that the U.S. has been withholding weapons when that, in fact, has not been the case. I believe there is some members of Congress who have recently signed off on another weapons shipment or distribution to Israel, another $1 billion shipment. So as you heard the White House press secretary say in the briefing the other day, the White House doesn't know what he's talking about. And so that is more fuel for the tension that has been brewing in this relationship between two key U.S. allies.
And certainly a ceasefire, which the White House so desperately wants in Gaza, still seems out of reach.
Right.
So, Darlene, let's turn to the upcoming presidential debate. It is 1 week from tonight. Tell us a little bit more about what we know about the president's upcoming debate prep. He's expected to be in Camp David for several days, but also how his team is approaching the stakes of this debate. It does seem, and they acknowledge it, this is a really big early inflection point in a campaign that has, despite the movement in the polls we saw today, has largely been static and remains very, very close.
That's right. And as the president might say for himself, the debate next week is going to be a big deal. He's in Rehoboth right now. Later today, he's going to be heading up to the Camp David, the secluded presidential retreat in the mountains of Maryland, where he's supposed to spend the next week pretty much hunkered down and focusing on preparing for the debate. There are a number of advisors who are going to be going up there with him. You mentioned that Ron Klain will be part of the debate prep team, and Ron Klain has had a long history of working with Democratic presidents and presidential candidates, preparing them for debates. And advisors have said that part of what they will be doing up there is helping the president anticipate the kinds of comments and commentary that's going to be coming from the former President Donald Trump. There will be some mock debate prep sessions. That's usually the standard way that presidents and candidates who are getting ready for debates get ready for debates. They practice. Someone will stand in and play the role of former President Trump and mimic his commentary, his mannerisms, all sorts of things to get the president ready. And remember, President Biden, it's been a few years since he's debated. It's been since 2020. So he has some work to do. But I would say that in a lot of the fundraisers that he's been doing lately, he's been cracking jokes at the former president. And I think in some part, the fundraisers have been kind of a little bit of a warm up for President Biden.
And usually the presidential challenger comes off of the primaries and is sharper in debates. But let's remember, Trump skipped all the debates this year as well. So both men could be rusty. Live for us from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where she's traveling with the president, White House reporter for the AP, Darlene Superville. Darlene, thank you for starting us off this morning. Meanwhile, millions of people from the Midwest to the Northeast will face extreme heat for a fourth straight day. The National Weather Service is predicting record highs again today in several areas, and the heat is expected to last into the weekend and perhaps beyond. Meteorologists say the dangerous temperatures are the result of a heat dome that is covering large portions of the country. Yesterday, some areas saw temperatures climb well into the 90s and approach 100 degrees. We'll have more on the extreme weather a little bit later in the show. And coming up here on Way Too Early, amid that dangerous heat, the United States' top climate diplomat, John Podesta, and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger will join me ahead of one of the largest climate summits in the world. Podesta and Schwarzenegger, you will not want to miss that. Plus, Louisiana becomes the first state to require all public classrooms to display the 10 Commandments. What state officials are saying about the controversial move. Those stories and a check on sports when we come right back.
Each week on my podcast, I'm joined by uniquely qualified guests who help me take a big picture look at the issues. This week, Representative Jasmine Crockett on criminal justice and congressional politics. Why is this happening? Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Numbers. They never lie. They tell it like it is. They don't lean politically to the left or to the right. In the end, numbers tell stories that words alone can't. And when you look at the world through numbers, somehow it all adds up.
Sup?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, horsepower keeps you going, but torque gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
The Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover.
If you have chronic kidney disease, you can reduce the risk of kidney failure with Farxiga, because there are places you'd like to be. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections, and low blood sugar. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, an allergic reaction, or ketoacidosis.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Even a term policy!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-738-1300 or visit CoventryDirect.com.
Oh, what a good time we will have. You can make it happen, girl.
Try dietary supplements from Voltaren for healthy joints.
I got this $1,000 camera for only $41 on DealDash.
DealDash.com. Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
Guys, how frustrating is it to find a great pair of jeans? Too tight here, too loose there, too long there? Standard jeans use just 2 measurements. Tailor Custom Jeans use 7 different measurements to give you the perfect fit. Your phone can measure you right now. Download the Tailor app on iOS or Android. Choose from hundreds of styles. Tailor measures you digitally and is 20% more accurate than a professional tailor. With free shipping and a money-back guarantee, get your new favorite pair of jeans today. Tailor, available on the Apple App Store or Android.
Welcome back. There is still no winner in the highly contentious Republican primary in Virginia's 5th congressional district 2 full days after voters went to the polls. John McGuire currently leads incumbent Congressman Bob Good by less than 1%. It's roughly about 300 votes. But despite being too close to call, McGuire went ahead and declared victory Tuesday night. Congressman Good is chair of the House Freedom Caucus and lost the support of Donald Trump for initially backing Ron DeSantis in the Republican presidential primary campaign. Good also became a target of former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy after he helped oust McCarthy from the speakership role earlier in the year. Good stated on social media yesterday that he believes he can, quote, still prevail, and asked for patience while awaiting the certification of the vote. There's also a possibility of a recount. Meanwhile, Louisiana is now the first state in the nation to require all public school classrooms to display a copy of the 10 Commandments. The new law, signed yesterday by Governor Jeff Landry, makes it mandatory to display the commandments on a poster or framed document printed in a large, easily readable font. The poster must be in every classroom from kindergarten through to state-funded universities by 2025. The display also must include a, quote, context statement that says the commandments were a major part of American public education for nearly 3 decades. Opponents of this new law say it's a clear violation of the separation of church and state. Multiple groups, including the ACLU, have already announced a joint lawsuit against this Louisiana state measure. Quote, the First Amendment promises that we all get to decide for ourselves what religious beliefs, if any, to hold and practice without pressure from the government. Politicians have no business imposing their preferred religious doctrine on students and families in public schools. That's from that lawsuit. Louisiana's Attorney General issued a statement on the bill, writing this: Moses, who you may recall brought the 10 Commandments down from Mount Sinai, appears 8 times in carvings that ring the United States Supreme Court's Great Hall ceiling. I look forward to defending the law. Louisiana has a Republican supermajority in its state legislature. Both Texas and Oklahoma Republicans have pushed for a similar bill in their states. Up north, Emerson College in Boston has announced layoffs, citing an enrollment decline for the upcoming school year. which the administration says is connected to the campus protests of the war in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. The Emerson College president notified the faculty of the layoffs in an email yesterday, along with plans to go without filling some vacant positions for 2025. The administration blames the enrollment decline on a number of factors, including, in part, quote, negative press and social media generated from the demonstrations and arrests. Back in April, more than 100 protesters were arrested after police broke up a pro-Palestinian encampment created by Emerson College students next to the school's downtown Boston campus. Emerson's president says the enrollment decline is only expected to last 1 year, but warns that the financial effects will be felt for the next few years. Next up here, we'll return to sports and the return of Yankees ace pitcher Garrett Cole. We'll show you how Cole did on the mound after missing more than 2 months of action. Plus, WNBA rookie star Caitlin Clark puts up some impressive stats as she helped lead the Indiana Fever to another win. Those highlights when Way Too Early returns.
At the Jeep Make This the Summer event, you can take a vacation from payments on the most capable Wrangler ever. Our most affordable SUV, Jeep Compass. The only open-air pickup, Jeep Gladiator. And the most awarded SUV ever, Jeep Grand Cherokee. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer and make the most out of summer with great deals plus no payments for 90 days.
During the Jeep Make This the Summer event, get $2,000 bonus cash allowance, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on the 2024 Jeep Gladiator and most 2024 Jeep Wrangler gas-powered models.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just gonna say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. You won't realize the body odor you've just been living with until you try Lumi and it's gone. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
So this is pickleball?
It's basically tennis for babies, but for adults.
It should be called wiffle tennis.
Pickle!
Yeah,
These guys are intense.
We got nothing to worry about. With E-Trade from Morgan Stanley, we're ready for whatever gets served up.
Dude, you gotta work on your trash talk.
I'd rather work on saving for retirement.
Or college, since you like to get schooled. That's a pretty good burn, right?
Got 'em.
Game.
Thanks for coming to our clinic. First one's free.
Hey, honey. Looks like my to-do list grew. Paint the bathroom, give Baxter a bath, get life insurance. Have a few minutes. I can do that now.
Oh, that fast?
Remember that Colonial Penn ad? I called and I got information. They sent the simple form I need to apply. All I do is fill it out and send it back.
Well, that sounds too easy.
Give a little information, check a few boxes, sign my name. Done.
They don't ask about your health?
No health questions.
Physical exam?
Don't need one. It's Colonial Penn Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance.
If you're between the ages of 50 and 85, your acceptance is guaranteed in most states, even if you're not in the best health. Options start at $9.95 a month, 35 cents a day. Once insured, your rate will never increase. A lifetime rate lock guarantees it. Keep in mind, this is lifetime protection. As long as you pay your premiums, it's yours to keep. Call for more information and the simple form you need to apply today. There's no obligation, and you'll receive a free beneficiary planner just for calling.
Call 1-800-650-6900 for your free information and your free beneficiary planner. That's 1-800-650-6900. There's no obligation. That number again is 1-800-650-6900. Call now.
Did not hit a three in the first quarter, the Mystics. Clark way downtown, knocks down a three.
In the slot, off a pin down, feet under her shoulders, and launch.
Now Clark from the blind side, the steal and a bucket.
Caitlin Clark follows up a deep three-pointer with a quick steal and score to make for an impressive, fast 5-point sequence for the Indiana Fever. Clark notched the second double-double of her career last night, finishing with 18 points and a career-high 12 rebounds. She's playing well. Teammates Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston scored 22 apiece. The Fever's big three, if you will. And Indiana rolled to their third straight victory. with an 88-81 win over the Washington Mystics. We turn now to Major League Baseball and the return to the mound last night for New York Yankees ace and Garrett Cole. The reigning Cy Young winner struck out 6 batters, allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, and was charged with 2 earned runs on a 62 pitches in an abbreviated season debut that lasted just 4 innings. He was okay. He's got to work his way back to full strength. But Cole's return did not net the Yankees a win. The Baltimore Orioles secured a 7-6 extra innings victory in the second of a 3-game battle between division leaders. Yankees won the first one. Orioles won yesterday. Yankees 1.5 games ahead of the O's atop the AL East. The rubber game this afternoon in the Bronx. Red Sox, meanwhile, completed a sweep of the Blue Jays. They've won 5 in a row, 8 out of 10. To Minnesota now, the Twins' Royce Lewis did some serious damage against Tampa Bay Rays in the 5th inning, hitting a tie-breaking solo home run and knocking out a section of LED lights on the video board that fronts the second deck above left field. Look at that. They've gone dark. Lewis, however, also cost the Twins the game on a throwing error with 2 outs in the 10th inning. Oh, bad one. Rays win 3-2. To the College Diamond, it will be an all-SEC Men's World Series final for the 2nd year in a row. Texas A&M will play for a national championship in baseball for the first time in the program's 130-year history after it knocked out the Florida Gators with a 6-0 bracket-clinching win last night. The Aggies will play top-ranked Tennessee after the Volunteers advance with a 7-2 win over Florida State. Game 1 of this best-of-3 championship series is Saturday. And now to a costly celebration at the Olympic qualifiers in France. Watch this video. The swimmer in the red cap, who you'll see in a second, reportedly dislocated his shoulder while celebrating his second-place finish this week. That had secured him a spot on the French national team at next month's Paris Olympics. You can see him clutching in pain there. The 17-year-old has not commented on the incident or disclosed a diagnosis. Unclear if he'll be able to compete next month, but he is in a lot of pain just there. All right, speaking of pain, hot and humid here in the Northeast. Let's bring in meteorologist Michelle Grossman for the forecast. It's not just hot. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. We're going to see it till at least next Wednesday, and the extended outlook for this month looks above average. So, yeah, 65 million Americans still under, actually more than that, but 65 in the Northeast, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, New England, under heat alerts. We have heat advisories, heat watches, heat warnings. From Detroit to Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston, Bangor. You felt like 106 yesterday in Bangor. It's going to be equally as hot today. So temperatures soaring into the 90s once again. Once you factor in the humidity, especially in New England, we're going to feel like 103 in Bangor. It's going to feel like 94 in Boston, feeling like 94 in New York City, and the heat index also feeling like the mid-90s in Detroit, Buffalo, also Pittsburgh. So another hot day today. Look at tomorrow. It's even hotter than that in most spots. Some spots near triple digits without that humidity factored in. So St. Louis, 97 tomorrow. You factor in the humidity, it will feel like 99, feeling like 99 in Lexington. Look at D.C., 95 tomorrow, and then New York City feeling like 95. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be hot throughout the weekend as well. No relief in sight. No relief in sight for the beginning of next week either. Cincinnati into the 90s, near 100 degrees on Saturday in St. Louis, and we're looking at Philadelphia near triple digits on Saturday, Sunday. Monday, a little bit of relief at 91 degrees. Let's talk about the tropics, too, because we're about to make landfall with our first named storm of the season, Tropical Storm Alberto. Winds at 50 miles per hour. It's moving quicker now at 13 miles per hour. Should make landfall in the next hour or so, or shortly. And we do have some impacts this morning with heavy rain still falling, some coastal flooding, the chance of a few tornadoes as well. But things will improve for southern Texas as we go throughout the later part of today once this makes landfall.
All right, Michelle Grossman, we'll keep an eye on that and this punishing heat. Good to see you.
Sure.
Next up here, the United States' top climate diplomat, John Podesta, and former California governor, acting superstar Arnold Schwarzenegger are standing by. They'll join us from Austria ahead of one of the largest climate summits in the world. We'll be right back with the two of them.
Here's to getting better with age.
Here's to beating these two every Thursday.
Help fuel today with Boost High Protein. Complete nutrition you need without the stuff you don't. So, here's to now.
New Herbal Essences is packed with naturally derived plant-based ingredients your hair will love, and none of the stuff it won't. Our sulfate-free collections smell incredible and leave your hair touchably soft and smooth. New Herbal Essences.
He was only 47. Aneurysm. Did he have life insurance? Do you? No. You got to get on it. Check out SelectQuote. Trust me, the peace of mind, it's worth it.
Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why SelectQuote makes getting coverage you need easy, for less than $1 a day. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save.
To improve your digital security, just turn on NordVPN. Guard yourself from data snoopers, encrypt your online traffic, and block malicious sites. Get the deal now.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is a clinically proven arthritis pain relief gel which penetrates deep to target the source of pain with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine directly at the source. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
Remember when I said we need a screen for colon cancer?
Was that after I texted the age to screen was now 45? Because I said Cologuard.
Hey there.
Where did he come from?
Yep, with me, you can screen at home. Just talk to your provider. We'll screen with Cologuard. And do it my way.
Cologuard is a one-of-a-kind way to screen for colon cancer that's effective and non-invasive. It's for people 45 plus at average risk, not high risk. False positive and negative results may occur.
Ask your provider for me. Cologuard.
Victims of mesothelioma and their families may be entitled to receive a cash award from the estimated $30 billion in asbestos trust funds now available. Over $50 billion has been awarded already. If you have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by asbestos, call the number on your screen now. We have served victims of mesothelioma and their families nationwide for over 30 years. We have successfully recovered hundreds of millions of dollars for thousands of our clients. Even if a family member has passed due to mesothelioma, you may still be entitled to a cash award. So call now for your free evaluation. We want to help victims of mesothelioma and lung cancer, and your families get the financial compensation you deserve from the estimated $30 billion in trust funds now available. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call 1-800-290-7477 now or visit us at mesofund.com.
Morning Joe, weekdays 6 to 10 on MSNBC.
12 New Yorkers have affirmed the principle that no one in America is above the law.
The split screen between President Biden and Donald Trump keeps getting more striking.
Prior administrations have done squat on the border.
Don't miss the weekends, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 8
on MSNBC.
Welcome back to Way Too Early. It's exactly 5:30 a.m. here on the East Coast, 2:30 out west on this Thursday morning. I'm John Flemire. Thanks for being with us. We just told you about the extreme heat blanketing much of the United States and a tropical storm hitting Texas. Here's some more on extreme weather. In New Mexico, 2 very dangerous wildfires have claimed the lives of at least 2 people while forcing an entire town of more than 7,000 to flee. Officials say that both the South Fork and Salt fires were 0% contained as of late yesterday. The fire's ravaging flames have destroyed more than 1,400 structures, as well as having burned 23,000 acres. The governor has deployed all available resources, including the National Guard, after declaring a state of emergency for Lincoln County, as well as a Native American tribal reservation that's right there. Meanwhile, as all this is happening, one of the largest climate conferences in the world is happening right now in Europe. Climate leaders from several countries are taking the stage in Vienna, Austria, to discuss and offer solutions on how to fight climate change with the goal of connecting people, businesses, and industries. It's all part of Arnold Schwarzenegger's annual Austrian World Summit. And this year's theme is Be Useful, Tools for a Healthy Planet. And joining us now from Vienna are indeed Arnold Schwarzenegger, as well as John Podesta, who currently serves as senior advisor to President Biden for international climate policy and invited to speak at this year's summit. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being with us. Governor Schwarzenegger, let's start with you. Good to see you again. This year's theme, as noted, is Be Useful, Tools for a Healthy Planet. Tell us what that is, what that means for individual people, and what's the goal today?
Well, first of all, let me just say that it is wonderful to sit here with John Podesta. And it's, I think, again, a message to the people around the world that the environmental issue, it should never be a political issue. He's a Democrat. He's working for the Biden administration. I'm a Republican. And there are people from the Green Party here. There's from all different parties and walks of life are here because, you know, there is no Republican air, there's no Democratic air or Republican water or Democratic water. We all breathe the same water and drink the same air. And I think so this is a really good message. And I'm, of course, a big fan of his because he has really the tremendous energy and also the know-how, how to move things forward and how to help the president with the environmental issues. And so we wanted to have him over here at the Vienna conference to kind of exchange ideas and have him talk about, you know, what they're doing in America, what the Biden administration is doing in America, and how we're going to achieve the goal to reduce pollution and reduce greenhouse gases. But being useful is all about how do we all get behind it. And, you know, I've used a theme this year for my speech to talk about the permitting process. Because, you know, every time we delay a project, a green project, if it is a solar plant or a wind farm or anything like this, because not in my backyard or because we have to do some environmental studies and holding it up for years and years and years, it's a huge victory to the oil companies. So what I'm saying is basically to people, we got to stop that. We got to go and cut down the permitting process. And we got to all work together here to get as quickly as possible off fossil fuels. Because every time we hold up a windmill farm or anything like this, it means it's a victory for the oil companies.
So, John, this summit comes against the backdrop of extreme weather back here in the United States. What's your central theme to the audience today?
Action, Jonathan. I think your lead-in tells the story about what we're seeing in the United States, all across the globe, certainly here in Europe, which is the fastest warming continent on the planet, that we need action. We need it now. We can't turn back. And I think that's what President Biden and Vice President Harris have promised, and they've delivered to the American people through passage of the largest investment in clean energy in the history of the planet. And that's what we're all about, trying to get these projects built. I agree with the governor that we need to cut through the red tape, cut the timelines. We have to build and build. And we can do that, and we're seeing that with the tremendous levels of investment in the United States for clean energy.
So, Governor Schwarzenegger, let's talk about your message to nations that have been less inclined to deal with climate change, bigger polluters like China, India, and the rest. How do you reach them?
Well, I think that there will always be obstacles. I always say, let's not go after the low-hanging fruit. Let's go after the higher-hanging fruit. I mean, there are some difficult moments that we have to go through. And I think all it has to do is with communication. I think through communication, I've seen this with the fitness crusade, when we wanted to rally the world together to go and stay fit and to build gymnasiums and to get involved in food supplements and all of that stuff. There are now more gymnasiums around in the world than ever before. I mean, every hotel, every military installation, every fire station, police station, every high school, college, everyone has a gymnasium. So it worked. And we want to do the same thing here. We want to communicate the right way. I think this whole climate change dialogue is not going to work. I think this has been used for the last few decades. I think we should address it directly, what it is, which is pollution. We want to terminate pollution. That is the message we should go and get out there. And I think that it doesn't matter if it's the Chinese or the Russians, whoever it is, we maybe don't agree with them, but we all have to bring them in and we all have to work together with them.
So, John, this, of course, to the governor's point, everyone, Republican, Democrat, we're all breathe the same air, but yet climate change has become a political issue here in the United States. It is, of course, an election year. How do you break through that sort of political noise to make sure that all Americans understand just how important this is?
Look, I think you got to be practical. You got to put it on the ground as to what's really happening, the jobs that are being created, the costs that are being reduced because we're investing and supporting people to move to more efficient appliances, putting solar on their rooftops, et cetera. And I think actually the two of us being together, you know, we're demonstrating that Republicans and Democrats can talk to each other, find common sense solutions. We're also demonstrating that people with extremely different body types can sit next to each other and work together to solve the climate crisis. So the governor feels the burn in his arms when he works out in the gym. I feel the burn in my legs when I go running.
Can you believe that he went already running this morning? I mean, he gets up at 5 in the morning and he goes running for 6 miles. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, John is in real shape.
You both are paragon of physical fitness in different ways, and we appreciate you both being here this morning live for us from Vienna. And it's no more important conversation or challenge the world faces, climate change. Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Podesta, thank you both.
Thank you.
Next up here, we're going to go live to CNBC for an early look at what's driving the day on Wall Street as investors await new economic data. Plus, U.S. regulators are suing a popular software company over its subscription cancellation policy. We'll dig into the allegation and how the company's responding when we come right back.
Stay up to date on the biggest issues of the day with the MSNBC Daily newsletter. Each morning, you'll get analysis by experts you trust, video highlights from your favorite shows.
2024 is now truly the most important election in the history of our country.
Previews of our podcasts and documentaries, plus written perspectives from the newsmakers themselves, all sent directly to your inbox each morning. Get the best of MSNBC all in one place. Sign up for MSNBC Daily at msnbc.com.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-680-2288 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-680-2288. Don't wait. 1-800-680-2288. Call now.
This making you uncomfortable? Good. When you've got type 2 diabetes like me, you have up to 4 times greater risk of stroke, heart attack, or worse, death, even when meeting your A1C goal. Discomfort can help you act. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm empowering you to get real with your healthcare provider. Talk to them about lowering your risk of stroke, heart attack, or death.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it and I noticed a difference right away. Everywhere. You won't realize the body odor you've just been living with until you try Lumi and it's gone. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
Welcome back. Time now for business. And for that, let's bring in CNBC's Charlotte Reed, who joins us live from London. Charlotte, good morning. So Wall Street's eyeing a collection of economic data beginning today that'll close out the second half of the trading week. Give us a sense as to what's to come and how the market's shaping up this morning.
Good morning, John. Well, indeed, markets reopening today after being closed yesterday for the Juneteenth holidays. S&P futures in the green this morning as investors look for the benchmark to add to its record high reached on Tuesday. But as you were saying today, all eyes will be on several economic data to be released this morning, including initial jobless claims, housing start, and U.S. building permits. Now, last week, data showed a surprise uptick in jobless claims. And economists said that if the momentum continues upward for jobless claims, it could prompt the Fed to reassess its timetable for interest rates cut to sooner rather than later.
So speaking of interest rates, the Swiss National Bank once again trimmed its key interest rate. That's the second cut of the year. What's the sense of other major global economies? Are they going to follow suit?
Well, interesting. It's a really busy day today for central banks in Europe. As you were saying, the Swiss National Bank just this morning cutting its interest rate to 1.25 as expected after inflation in the country remained steady at 1.4% in May. But you remember, it's the second time that the Swiss National Bank is cutting its interest rate. It is surprised the markets back in March in cutting its rate already, the first major central bank to do so, and only to be followed by the European Central Bank just only recently. Now, the Norwegian Central Bank is also announcing its rate cut, and the Bank of England as well. Now, when it comes to the Bank of England, economists expected to keep rates unchanged at 5.25, despite inflation finally coming to the 2% target just in May, as data published just yesterday showed. But there were higher than expected services inflation, which made them put in doubt and say the underlying price pressures actually aren't slowing as fast as expected, and that could postpone the BOE's first rate decision to later this year.
And lastly, back here at home, the U.S. government is suing the software giant Adobe for a number of alleged violations. Please tell us more.
Yes, well, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission is suing Adobe, so that's the one that makes Photoshop, for example, for hidden fees and what it calls absurdly hard to cancel subscriptions. Now, the FTC alleges the software company violates customer rights and consumer protection laws by making it too difficult to cancel and trapping customers. Now, the FTC also said it failed to disclose these terms clearly to customers. Now, Adobe disputes these claims and say it will fight the lawsuit.
We can all relate to having challenges of unsubscribing to various online subscriptions. CNBC's Charlotte Reed, live from London. Thank you as always. Next up here, Russian President Vladimir Putin pays a visit to Vietnam in an effort to strengthen his ties in Southeast Asia. We'll have the latest on that, as well as the deal he signed with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Way too early. We'll be right back.
At the Ram Make This the Summer event, you can take a vacation from payments on the most awarded light and heavy-duty trucks. The most luxurious Ram 1500 ever. And the most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickups. Hurry into your local Ram dealer and make the most of your summer with great deals plus no payments for 90 days.
Now during the Ram Make This the Summer event, get $1,000 cash allowance plus finance and get no monthly payments for 90 days on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks.
I thought I was sleeping okay, but I was waking up so tired. Then I tried new ZzzQuil Sleep Nasal Strips. Their 4-point lift design opens my nose for maximum airflow, so I breathe better.
And we both sleep better and stay married.
Better days start with ZzzQuil Nights.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Even a term policy!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-738-1300 or visit coventrydirect.com.
Suffering from arthritis, muscle, and joint pain? Get relief, finally, with MagnaLife Arnica Pain Relief Gel with eucalyptus and emu oil. Ease stiffness, inflammation, and soreness naturally.
Available at your local retailer.
At Harry's, we designed our razors to start sharp and stay smooth, so your 8th shave is as smooth as your first. And at as little as $2 per blade, they cost half of what the other guys charge. Wake up to Harry's. Get your trial set for just $7 at harrys.com/smooth.
I got this $1,000 camera for only $41 on DealDash.
DealDash.com. Online auctions since 2009. This PlayStation 5 sold for only 50 cents. This iPad Pro sold for less than $34. And this Nintendo Switch sold for less than $20.
I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
I got this barbecue smoker for $26.
And shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
At over $4 a blade, shaving every day gets expensive. Harry's 5-blade razor offers me a close, comfortable shave. Best part, refills are as low as $2 each, half of what I paid before.
Go to harrys.com/shave to claim your $7 trial.
I know a lot of voters are exhausted. You know who else is exhausted?
Every single player at halftime of the Super Bowl, every one of them is exhausted. And what do? They go out there and they do it again. This is halftime in the Biden versus Trump contest for the future. And there's a second half coming up. And yeah, you have to play in both halves.
To international news now. Russian President Vladimir Putin is in Vietnam this morning, one day after visiting North Korea for the first time since the year 2000. There, Putin and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un signed a pact pledging mutual aid if either country is attacked. After a signing ceremony, Putin said the agreement reflects shared desires to elevate the relations between those two nations. NBC News is reporting the partnership could expand transfers of military technology to Pyongyang in exchange for supplies of munitions that Moscow's military badly needs for its ongoing war in Ukraine. In Vietnam, Putin was greeted with a large welcome ceremony for his state visit. The Russian leader is expected to remain in the country through tomorrow in a trip that will likely frustrate nations Vietnam has recently developed better ties with, diplomatic ties, that includes the United States. It's a real issue for both the Trump and Biden administrations. Citing an expert, the New York Times reports Russia supplies Vietnam with a majority of its military equipment, making up 60 to 70% of Vietnam's defense arsenal. A spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi denounced the trip, saying no country should give Putin a platform to promote his war of aggression and otherwise allow him to normalize his atrocities. Meanwhile, Russia says it's awaiting a response from the U.S. concerning a possible prisoner swap. Russia's deputy foreign minister told a state-run news agency yesterday that the, quote, ball is in the United States court when it comes to the exchange. According to the Wall Street Journal, the official said Americans are probably not happy with something included in the proposal, but added that's their problem. He didn't elaborate further. It's possible, but not certain, that Russia's proposal could involve detained Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, who has been imprisoned for more than a year, and he was indicted on espionage charges last week. The State Department has previously said there's an intensive effort underway to secure the release of Gershkovich and Paul Whelan, the former U.S. Marine who has spent more than 5 years in Russian detention. Elsewhere, a pair of climate protesters have been arrested after spray painting the historic Stonehenge monument in southern England. Video of the incident shows two people running toward the stone circle while spraying orange paint. A third person can be seen trying to stop them, then a fourth. The climate activist group Just Stop Oil has taken responsibility for the incident. The group says the protesters seen in the video are a 21-year-old Oxford student and a 73-year-old man from Birmingham. The charity that manages Stonehenge says curators are investigating the extent of the damage. Up next, just hours from now, the Supreme Court could decide Donald Trump's claim for presidential immunity for acts he committed while in office. Charlie Sykes is standing by with his thoughts on how the court could rule and the lengthy delay before its decision. And then coming up on Morning Joe, we'll break down new polling that shows President Joe Biden ahead of Trump in a recent Fox News poll. And the key demographics where Biden is leading the most. Plus, Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada will join us to discuss how abortion rights is playing out in her race as she seeks re-election. Also ahead, actress Cleopatra Coleman will be live in studio with a look at her new Hulu series, Clipped. Morning Joe, just a few moments away.
If you have chronic kidney disease, you can reduce the risk of kidney failure with Farxiga, because there are places you'd like to be. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections, and low blood sugar. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, an allergic reaction, or ketoacidosis.
Why is Navage perfect for allergies?
People who have allergies will have lots of problems. If someone's exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately by washing out the nose. Navage works by pulling saline in one nostril, through the nose and out the other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot relief so you could breathe easier, sleep better, feel healthier. If you have seasonal allergies, Navage can help.
Available at major retailers or online at Navage.com.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-680-2288 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-680-2288. Don't wait. 1-800-680-2288. Call now.
Morning Joe, weekdays 6 to 10 on MSNBC.
No. Good job, Junior. Let's go.
Illumination's Despicable Me 4. Rated PG.
Welcome back. The Supreme Court is scheduled to release another set of decisions at 10 a.m. today. Among the opinions we're waiting for is Donald Trump's presidential immunity claim. The court heard oral arguments way back on April 25th, and a decision is expected before the end of the month. Decisions being announced today, tomorrow, a couple days next week as well. On MSNBC yesterday, former Attorney General Eric Holder expressed concern that the justices could come to a dangerous conclusion.
Anything less than a decision by the Supreme Court that says a president should be held to the laws just like any other American citizen should be. Anything other than that is absurd. The notion, for instance, that apparently some justices are fooling around with it. Well, if the president violated the criminal law but was doing so in his official capacity, there may be some basis to say that that's okay. We need to step back and think about that. Wait a minute. A president can violate the American criminal law if he or she is doing something in their official capacity. That is an absurd and dangerous conclusion. And I'm worried, given the length of time that it has taken for the Supreme Court to decide this case, that something along those lines might come out of the
ruling in all of this. So the foot dragging has already perhaps been decisive on this case. And I have to say that I share the Attorney General's concerns about this. Look, this ought to be a slam dunk decision. The appellate court in Washington, D.C. came down with what ought to have been the definitive decision on presidential immunity. The court could have simply said what they said. They could have gone along with it. The fact that it has taken this long, I think, raises all of those questions. And I you do feel like we are edging toward an institutional and a constitutional crisis because this court was not able to very, very quickly say, no, of course the president is not above the law. Of course he's not immune for crimes that he or she committed in the course of their duties.
Charlie, we opened the show with some new polling that shows a shift towards President Biden. Look, his lead in this Fox News poll, just 2, that's within the margin of error, so that's not that important. But what might be is the 7-point shift toward Biden in the last few months. What do you make of it?
Well, again, I mean, all the caveats are in order here. These polls go up and down. It is within the margin of error. We'll have to wait for what other surveys. But, you know, there has been this sort of maybe cynical conventional wisdom that nothing matters, that nothing hurts Donald Trump, that even being a convicted felon won't make a difference. This poll suggests that there might be some shift, that people are looking at Donald Trump, and they may not like necessarily all the policies of Joe Biden, but the prospect of 4 more years of this guy might be too much. So I guess the question is, are we entering a phase of this campaign where, with more attention being focused on Donald Trump, that this national amnesia is breaking and people are going, yeah, that really wasn't so good. We really don't really want to put this guy back in charge of nuclear weapons again. Who knows?
Well, I think to that point, the debate next week looms large as a reminder for Americans just what the Trump era was like. So, Charlie, we also mentioned earlier in the show that the congressional race that involves House Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good remains too close to call. What lessons can we learn here about, A, Donald Trump's continued hold over the Republican Party, but also a lot of Virginia districts are sometimes viewed as bellwethers for national elections or presidential elections. So what do you think?
Well, it's MAGA on MAGA violence. You know, it's hard to choose between these two guys. I think it was Adam Kinzinger said it's like choosing between dysentery and flu. But what is interesting is, look, Congressman Good is about as right-wing as you get. He's the head of the Freedom Caucus, and it's not good enough. It all comes down to loyalty to Donald Trump. You know, he committed the sin of endorsing Ron DeSantis. So this is not about issues. It is not about policy. It is not about rhinos versus MAGA. It is all about Donald Trump's absolute and complete demand for loyalty, and he's prepared to blow up this congressional race, spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on a seat they didn't have. And by the way, we ought to notice how far the Republican Party has fallen in this district. This used to be represented by Denver Riggleman, a man of real integrity and principle, and he was defeated by Bob Good because he committed the unforgivable sin of presiding at a same-sex wedding. So we've gone from Denver Riggleman to God knows what in this particular district.
Yeah, so reflective of where the Republican Party is now. MSNBC contributor Charlie Sykes, thank you. As always, we'll talk to you again soon. And thanks to all of you for getting up way too early with us on this Thursday morning. Morning Joe starts right now.
This heat isn't just bad for the planet, it's also bad for the brain, because according to a new study, the hotter it gets, the harder it is to find your words. Wow. Cucumber. Hot weather can result in lower scores on math tests, as well as higher rates of aggression, ranging from mean-spirited behavior to violent crime. Well, that explains Florida.
The heat wave is also blasting Washington, D.C. When people complained about it being over 90, President Biden was like, see, 81 isn't so bad, right? Just saying. I'm not kidding. It is hot out there. I spent all day sweating like a Fox News anchor trying to explain Juneteenth.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It is Thursday, June 20th. Millions of people from the Midwest to the Northeast will face extreme heat for a 4th straight day. The National Weather Service is predicting record highs again in several areas, and the heat is expected to last into the weekend. Also, Tropical Storm Alberto, the first named storm of the hurricane season, is expected to make landfall soon on Mexico's Gulf Coast. The large storm has already brought heavy rainfall and some flooding along the coasts of Texas and Mexico. Meanwhile, 2 large wildfires continue to burn out of control in New Mexico. Police have confirmed 2 deaths tied to the fires raging in Reduso. So far, more than 23,000 acres have burned. And moving to politics, the latest Fox News survey finds Biden ahead of Trump, 50% to 48% among registered voters. It's the first time the president has a lead since October. The new numbers come as we are 1 week away from the first presidential debate, and both sides are digging into preps. But Donald Trump appears to be making sure he lowers expectations all around, and he's starting to make excuses, claiming he had to face off against the moderators as well, so that will be a challenge. We're going to